Good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at XRP and the Sigma coin, along with some dominance for the stables. So, all right, as we have been following along, we've got our new indicator that we've been utilizing for in and out trades. And we kind of actually can now see that if we had listened to the indicator or had the indicator back on August 5th, it would have told us here on this next candle when it printed by August 8th that we would have exited XRP and been holding off and not actually owning it until we got this kind of wrong-footed move here, which then you could have been stopped out at or re-entered in this zone and then had one more entry through here with it's finally telling you to reaccumulate here down at $1.84. And so if you had done so, you would have had almost a double in your XRP because we fell 44%. So you could have sold all of your XRP, reacquired your XRP, and had twice as much as you wanted and the same amount of money still in the game. So so since then, the indicator told us as of this date of December 30th that it was go time. We've since had two extremely parabolic candles stepping in, and I figured today we would take a look at some of these other indicators and how they play out in our game. So the way this is classified is your majority of your moves, this middle indicator, that you're just going to kind of wait till that steps in and tells you that it's time. But this one is our middle indicator. So this one is a faster speed indicator, and you can see that it too had topped out, setting this high. Then it just really couldn't muster much more, and then it was below that white line. And in doing so, it wasn't able to gain any strength. Well, now it's turning back up. And generally, when we see this particular indicator get through this white line and we have a crossover like we do here, you tend to have extremely parabolic moves to the upside. And if you cross over to the downside, you'll actually have aggressive downward candle moves, which you can see, like would start off like it was trying and then it couldn't muster it. And then that's where you had that 10-10 event that came into play. So this is just now starting its journey back up, assuming that we don't roll over like we've been seeing here in these other ones, which I don't think we will because we were so oversold. We got this little green guy right here. That assumption is that we in fact are going to continue higher, and if we do move through the range, you can expect to see something along these lines over here where we finish down, then have a bullish impulse and end up coming all the way up to the range, and you can have this huge percentage move right here through this region before we have to cool off and consolidate again for XRP. So so that's our middle indicator. So far looking great. Going to be very accelerant once we spend another couple weeks moving back up through this region. This guy, we know we already have, but you can notice that the green line is starting to diverge. So the green line and red line will diverge, and into that divergence, which is what you're starting to see here, we're just now getting started. Assuming we're like right over here equivalent, then that's the kind of return that you start seeing to come into play. When the green line diverges, that's when you see price action go higher. So we're having a good divergence with an incredibly oversold reading, and this is our fast indicator, which as long as it's pointing upward or above the white line, then we are bullish. And you can see that as right here, for example, it just pointed straight up. Same story here, very aggressive straightward upward pointing right now, as it's just parabolic at this point. So as long as that maintains its upward trajectory, this one continues moving upward and this stays green, we've got a triple confirmation. And so first area of interest that we'll be looking at, just kind of see how price action plays, is right here at 260. That will be our fair market value from the high here on the range, and you can see we were just having trouble ever getting above that fair market value, and we were just cascading downward and downward and downward, found a base. Now we're coming back up to it. This will be the first area and opportunity for these people who are trapped to sell out if they wanted to. Additionally, if we get up into maybe this area here or even right here, this is the first cascading moment, and this is again an area where people who had bought all through here now have an opportunity to sell out and say, hey, that wasn't fun, I don't like that, and they can exit here at this price range. So those are the couple areas that I'm looking at to see where we may have in fact a rejection form. So that's what we have happening here. Now jumping over to the USDC dominance, this guy we showed last night on Trench Warfare. We have a red indicator, a purple move down, and a direct straight down point. So the inverse of what we're doing here, which means money is coming out of stables and moving into crypto assets. And you can see that if we had listened to, if we again had this indicator August 13th, this one said you don't want to be in crypto, you want to be in stables, as their dominance was increasing. So we had a confirmation on the 13th, and we had a combination for XRP back on the 5th that both confirmed and told us that the combination of XRP and stables was now a double confirmation, stating that you in fact shouldn't be not buying cryptos, you should be in stables, and that would have avoided the drawdown. So as of right now though, this guy's saying no problem guys, just have fun, we're just getting ready to pass through the 50-yard line. That's your accelerating moment. So I think some really good price action to the upside is moving forward here pretty soon. Then jumping over to the XRP price action, we've got an interesting behavior. Let's see, this one still have the overlay, does not. Okay, so then jumping over to, yep, we're just going to go straight to Sigma. Sigma, the coin, has been showing us the same type of situation now. Huge breakout into December of 24, not sustainable through that whole window of time as we consolidated with liquidity loss in the overall market. And then since then, we've had now 2 3-day green candles, similar to what we were experiencing through here. This one also had it, but there really hasn't been 2 green candles. There we go, there's another one right here. Into these impulses is where we see the green candles show up, and this is our first one that we've had in a very long time of 2 green 3-day candles starting its ascent backwards. So assuming the same situation is true, you got people who bought up in here who are trapped and they don't want to be in the asset anymore. That would give them a potential upside from our current level to 439% to the upside to a 618. If we were to make it only to the prior all-time high from our current price, you got yourself a 17x. And if we start moving to the 1618, well, then you've got yourself a 12,974% potential upside on the Sigma coin. So definitely potentially huge upside. These fibs, now that we've done it, have extended. So you could see that these targets that we have here on the 3rd largest blockchain could start getting crazy when we move and look at upper price action that can actually play out because of the fact that they're sitting on top of XRP that may be performing extremely well. These rates of returns could be wild for the meme market here. So journey's going to be, wild and choppy, and there's going to be lots of, stuff changing, but I do think we're getting extremely close to at least a retrace, which would be a 440% return on your money. So not financial advice. And so Sigma's looking good. Green candles showing, RSI popping. We've got ourselves some good potential upside playing out. And then we've got the liquidity heat map showing that we still have even more potential to get to that 250 plus region, even into the 290s. I'm thinking this is a good area where we might chop, but I'm not thinking anytime soon. And then jumping over to the dominance of stables falling, which is great, which means money's coming in from stable coins, not the crypto market. So Bitcoin dominance may stay elevated, even though most of the money's coming from stables. And then finally, XRP itself on the 3-day, no change, super, super bullish. This guy hasn't even separated yet, like you would see over here. And this one is still looking extremely bullish after being oversold, and extremely bullish after being oversold. And you can see this one gives you a lot of potential upside down here as this thing gets going. So, all right, so here's to everything that we have coming our way for this year, and I'm excited for it. So, all right, thanks so much for watching, and we'll check in tomorrow.